Well, I thought it's getting towards the middle of April now, so it's time to plant my carrots in the sand boxes as usual. I'm going to do a different method as well as the normal method this year. You remember, normally I use this contraption to take a core of sand out of the box, and I fill the core, the borehole, full of compost. But also this year, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make some conical holes with a bar. So not only will it use less compost, but it should be a little bit easier to do as well, because it can be a bit tricky coring the stuff out, and it sort of gives you a bit of backache. So as usual, what I'm using are these 2-foot square boxes. I made them ages ago. As you can see, they're not quite as full as they used to be, but I've found out that over time that you don't need them 18 inches deep or 2 feet deep. So these are probably about, probably are about 18 inches depth of sand. Both of those, maybe that's a little bit shallower. And if you notice, I do put some waterproof stuff, some plastic on the inside, basically, because if you can look at that one there, you can see that over the years the wood shrinks, and if you didn't have something waterproof there or something to stop the sand would just trickle out, and also it keeps the moisture in. So anyway, we'll get on and show you both ways of doing it and show you how easy it is, and then we'll have a go. Right then, so what we'll do first, we'll do the coring method. As you can see, I've got a piece of drain pipe, probably about 2 3/4 inches. And the reason I do it like this is because I'll show you, push it down into the sharp sand. It'll take a couple of pushes, take it out, and if you see, the sand will be stuck into the tube. If I just give that a tap, it should come out. And we'll push down again, get to the full depth. So that's to the full depth. Like I said, the reason I grow carrots this way is because they're twofold. It means that they're really protected from slugs because of the sand. I've had a bit of trouble getting out this. It means that you can keep them in over winter because it's so well drained, they don't get waterlogged and they don't go rotten. And basically they just grow really good carrots. It's just a really good way of growing carrots. And another thing which I'm not particularly, it's not coming out very well there. Stuck in my tube. We'll get onto the coring bit. Like I said, and another reason is because these tubs are raised off the ground about 2 feet. I'm not too convinced about this, but as they always say, carrot fly is a low flying insect, so anything you can get them off the wax off the floor with will also be a bit of a help to try and avert the dreaded carrot fly. Like I said, this couldn't be that easy. Oh, just having a bit of trouble coming out of the pipe. So I'll do this and I'll just move on to the coring bit, sorry, the boring bit with the pipe, and we'll show you how we do that. Right then folks, we'll try this boring method out. I've got a big steel bar here, and all I'm going to do is just plunge it down till I get to the bottom and then just waggle it about. It might not be quite as neat, but it'll get there in the end. It's a lot easier to do. Waggle it about until it's about the same width as the other holes, and then just remove it. Now the trouble with this is it might make the others collapse when I do the ones next to it, so just have to be a little bit careful. It's not looking too bad. So this way, what's going to happen is it's going to use probably 50% less compost. They'll still be the same depth, but just not the same amount of compost. So like I said, it's a lot easier to do as well. So we'll just give it a try, and then I'll just do one box like this year and see what the results are, because if the results are the same, then it's a lot easier to do, and if you're using less compost for the same results, it's costing you less money. So that's how we're gonna core them out. I keep getting them mixed up. So that's that way. So what I'll do is I'll get them all done, and then I'll show you how we put the compost in, and then show you how we sow the seeds. Right then folks, that's 2 boxes done. that's the ones that's been cored out, sorry, bored out using the hose, using the drain pipe, and that's the one that's been bored out using the bar. So now I'll just show you how we put the old compost in, trickle that in, and then we'll get on and sow the seed. Right then folks, I'm just going to use a little homemade funnel now. Just got some bog standard compost. It's quite fine, nice stuff this. The finer the better, but it's nothing special. So I'm just going to put my little funnel in, just trickle the compost in. Not going to compress it at all, just let it fall down with its own weight. And when we get to the top, just give it a slight tamp down like that. But it couldn't be easier. And what I'll do with these, I'll sow about at least three seeds in. Got a bit too big in that one. I'll put about 2 or 3 seeds in, and then once the first one, the strongest one, germinates, I'll just pull the other 2 out. I don't cut them off, I'd rather pull them out, because if you cut them off sometimes the root can go rotten and it might affect the one that you've left. So I always pull them out when they're quite small. So I'll just show you these other things that I'm going to put on, if I can find some. You'd have a big tub of them somewhere. So what we do now is we put these little rings on, and they serve 2 purposes. Basically, when you're watering, it means you're just watering into the hole, so you're not washing any of the sand away. And another thing is, sometimes, if you know that carrots can sometimes grow out of the soil when they get a bit more mature and push the shoulders out, and then if that gets any sun in it, it can go green. So this way, if it does do that, you can just simply put a bit of compost in the tube without it going all over the place and getting washed off. So that's the reason for the little tubes, and all they are is just little offcuts of the same sort of drain pipe. You can use plant pots, anything, as long as you just cut them off. It's not a big thing. So we'll get all these done, and then we'll get planting, and then that should be it. Right then folks, that's 3 lots of 60, that's 48 filled up now. Now it's just a matter of sowing the seeds, which is the fiddly bit for me. So we'll get on, fill the seeds, and then that's about it. Right then folks, going to get these seeds sowed now. Put my glasses on, can't see a thing. So what I'm using is a variety called Sweet Candle, with the sweetest carrot you can imagine, and once you've grown them you'll never grow any different. So all I'm going to try and do is put about 3 in each dimple. So I'm just going to make a little tiny dimple in the compost and try and drop 3 in. This compost dried out since in the last 10 minutes. So I'm planting them about probably 1/4 of an inch deep, 1/2 centimetre deep. Trying to get 3 in. So yeah, like I said, this is a great way of growing carrots. You don't have to grow them in boxes, but you can grow them in tubs. The best thing to do is, obviously with these boxes don't have any bottoms in at all, so that the drainage is like 100% drainage, so they don't hold water. So the water actually draws the carrot down. That's why you get a lovely long carrot. But it holds just enough moisture to keep them growing well. So you can grow them in a big tub, cut the bottom out of it, or even not cut the bottom out, just cut some big drainage holes in, and it should be good to go. So all I'm going to do is just lightly cover these seeds up with a bit of the compost, and then give them a bit of a watering in. And then sometimes I do put a bit of a cover on, but with this weather being nice and warm, it should be all right. So basically that's it. That's going to be 48 carrots done. I've got a few more to do in another bed over there, but apart from that, that's how I grow my carrots in the sand.